his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's.
See how the Most High goes into detail. He'll at the beginning of Scripture give you a little small understanding, then give you that full detail. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. It says thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. A lot of means to get that. Let's get Deuteronomy 5:21. Let's go ahead and get that. See what covet means.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 21. Neither shalt thou desire thy neighbor's wife.
To covet means to desire, want, envy. He says you should not covet your neighbor's wife. Or your neighbor is anyone of the nation of Israel, your brother, your sister. It's very common with celebrities. In our society, we covet what celebrities have. And a lot of times, it be their wives. Beyonce, for instance, is, I know growing up, Beyonce was on everybody's list. And a lot of people would always, have this thing about Beyonce. I want Beyonce. I want Beyonce. Knowing Beyonce is a married woman. She's a married woman. You're not supposed to covet what belongs to another man. That's his wife. So all this time we've been in sin, having her on our list and talking about how, just basically talk about how beautiful she is and desiring her and everything. That's a sin. We don't know the makeup of their marriage, but we know that to the public, is public knowledge that her and was Jay-Z are a married couple, and that goes for anybody. Some people believe it's okay to just look. It's okay. Well, let's get that Matthew 5:28. Some people believe it's okay to just look. Right? Just, they'll go out the way and say, brother, it's just a compliment. You got a beautiful wife. It's a compliment. Well, see what the Most High say about compliments. Get Matthew 5:28.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 28. But I say unto you that whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart.
It's adultery. You committed adultery with her in your heart. So we all look upon Beyonce and we lusting after her. We committing adultery. And that goes for any woman, because you never know who a married woman is. And for those brothers who do know that woman's married, but just like you said, it's just a compliment, you committing adultery, because that's another man's wife. So that's covetous. That's covet. And it goes into other things. Get that. Let's go back to Matthew 5:1 and read that again. I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 5:21. Talking too fast. Let me slow down.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 5, verse 21. Neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house.
You're not supposed to want what someone else has. Someone else has. You're supposed to be content with what you have. To look upon somebody else. It's okay to look at someone else's dwelling and say, "Oh, that's nice. I like that." Okay, that's nice. But to envy, oh man, it goes into jealousy. Like, oh man, I really want that's nice. I really want that. Like, to the point where you imagine that it's yours. Go ahead.
Neither shalt thou covet thy neighbor's house, his field, or his manservant, or his maidservant, his ox, or his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's.
Let's get some more. Go to Romans chapter 7 and
book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 7. All sin, God forbid. I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law has said, thou shalt not covet.
See that? We didn't even know that coveting was lust. This is how the law works. The law teaches you what sin is. So a lot of us don't even realize that by desiring what someone else has, or just like I said, John, simply looking and calling someone beautiful and just be like, oh man, I wish she was my wife, or man, I wish I had that. I wish that was my car. You are in sin. That's lust. Read that again for me, Doc.
Romans 7, verse 7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? God forbid.
God forbid. The law is not sin. So remember that. The law is not sin. Go ahead.
Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law.
You don't know sin until the law teaches it to you. You don't know sin until you come across this.
For I had not known lust, except the law has said, thou shalt not covet.
Now you know what lust is. So I had not known what lust was until the law said, thou shalt not covet. Because you could think that something is what seems, as I'm not going to say harmless, something what seems as harmless as just looking or saying I want. You probably wouldn't think that was coveting. But now you know. That's sin. Let's get some more.
And covet also turns into other sin, because think about it in worldly terms. When people desire what somebody else has, now it goes into what they go do. They go steal it. They go rob them. They go, you know what I mean? Like it goes into something else, because now our people, they're going to take it. They're going to attempt to take it from that person. Not saying, oh, yours. Our house like yours. They're yours. I want your wife. I don't want a car like yours, but your car. That's what it's talking about too.
That exactly. That's why the Most High gives us these laws to protect us, because those what they call it, manifesting.
Yeah.
That you turn, it grows. It becomes, like I said, it becomes to the point where you get so strong about it, you decide to take it.
Right.
You catch yourself, bro at work. You catch yourself knocking on the door. You know what I'm saying? You catch yourself, you probably never saw yourself stealing somebody's car. Now here you is trying to steal it.
Right.
The Most High is protecting you from awakening, feeding an evil spirit, making it stronger. So yeah, that's a good point. Get 1 Timothy chapter 6.
The book of 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6.
So you should not covet, but what should you do? How should we be?
But godliness with contentment is great gain.
We're supposed to be content. Content with what you have. There's one thing you lust after, and that's wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Growth is growth in the commandments is what you lust after. But be content with what you have currently, as far as anything in the world goes. Be content with your wife. Be content with your dwelling. As long as you do that, that's when that great gain is going to come. Because that's godly. To be content is godly. That's when your gain is going to start to increase. Man, that's a scripture. Hey, hold on. It's a scripture. It'll come to me. Man. Give verse 7. Because the scripture I'm trying to, it's just
verse 7. Verse 7. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can't carry nothing out.
So you brought nothing into this world, and it's certain you can't carry nothing out. That's why it's good to be content. Because at the end of the day, when we face the Most High, we facing him with our works. But everything that we had in the world, he's not gonna have that. We're not gonna have that. We came into this world with nothing, we leaving with nothing. Go ahead, verse 8.
Verse 8. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
Because that's godly. Knowing, okay, I got food and I got clothing. Got a roof over my head. Why am I desiring somebody else's things? I don't even know if I want what that man got. It looks good from a distance, but it might be a headache. And I'm not saying that's how you gotta look at it. But that's what contentment comes in. It's knowing, hey, I gotta be cool where I'm at. That's a commandment. So when we talk about there being over 600 commandments, these are commandments that we're reading to you right now. These are commandments that people. Somebody made a good point out. Said, we be so distraught when we hear it's 600 something commandments. Not paying attention to the fact that, well, what about in Esau society? It's a lot of commandments too.
Right.
Think about it. What do you have to do when you pull to a stop sign? You gotta stop, right? Look. The difference is Esau is not as strict about their commandments as we are, as the Most High is about his.
Right.
But we be so bent out of shape when we hear that 600 plus, that turns away. But these commandments are right in front of your face. Say, I'm not. Some people don't have a struggle. Everybody has something they have to overcome. But it's simply just applying. That's what it is. Like this right here, when he said, content. Be content. That's a commandment. Okay, you can't be content, then you're in trouble. Because you're gonna be always out here searching, wanting, always desiring more than what you have. Only thing you should be desiring more of is wisdom. But that goes into what we ain't reading right now. You got to start somewhere. Being content is probably where you got to start. Because that's how you're going to gain that more wisdom. Let's go ahead and get verse 9.
Verse 9. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare.
So it says, so we're talking about contentment. This is covenant. They that will be rich fall into contentment, fall into temptation and a snare. Meaning, because that's, all they want. They always tempted. They opening up a lot of doors for temptation to come in. They want to be rich. That's all they care about. And a snare means to be a trap. They're going to fall into that despair. They're basically just always searching for more. Never satisfied with what you have. Always coveting. Always trying to have, I'm trying to sit at the, I'm trying to have a yacht. I'm trying to be out there on the boat with the rappers. However you may look at it. And those people that want those things, we hear stories all the time of how rich celebrities, from all walks of life, how unhappy they are. They wanted that life so bad. And now they can't stand that. Now they just miserable. You remember that scene? And this is all part of the class. I'm not going off. Y'all remember that scene in that classic movie Scarface? It's one of the best scenes in the movie. Remember the scene where he's sitting down at the dinner table and he asking, "Is this what we do now? Is this what we work for?" He complaining. He miserable. He said, "All we got to do is spend money, get fat, drink." This what it was all about. He's talking bad about his wife. He miserable because that's what the Most High is saying. If you go back to verse 6, what does it say? Verse 6.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6. But godliness with contentment is great gain.
Because it's not just contentment, is godliness. If the Most High ain't in all that gain you out here trying to achieve, you're gonna be miserable. You're gonna be out here doing all kinds of things you shouldn't be doing. Drugs, sleeping with multiple women. You're a woman out here sleeping with multiple. Sleeping with, you're gonna start dabbling in witchcraft. That's what most I say, a trap, temptation. You're gonna become something that you didn't set out to be. You were set out to be comfortable, not knowing what comfort really is. And that comfort is in verse 6, godliness. You gotta have godliness. Because everything else, if you ain't got the godliness, you ain't gonna get that great gain. That's how the great game works. The happiest rich people, which they was really in the scriptures. Abraham, Isaac, who else? Solomon.
Right.
They were happy. David, they were happy because they had godliness, and not many more.
Okay, the precept.
Go ahead.
Get a Sirach 13. That's hitting on what you just said. Sirach 13 and 24.
Sirach chapter 13 and verse 24. Riches are good unto him that hath no sin.
Exactly. Riches are good to people that have no sin. The reason why we see rich people miserable is because what they had to do to get rich. They basically, what's the point of gaining the world and losing your soul? That's why they become miserable, and they still don't have the answer of life. So I said, read that again.
Riches are good unto him that hath no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly.
It's a poverty is evil. Poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. Once those riches hit, they don't want to ever be broke again, and they would do anything to not do it. So they're miserable because of what they had to do to get rich. You lost your soul.
And I was just thinking about that. So yeah, poverty. Our people they don't want to be struggling. They don't want to struggle no more. Because we know that poverty also is somewhat, in a sense, humbleness. You know what I'm saying? Being humble creates contentment. If you can live humbly, you can be content. But yeah, those riches, a lot of our brothers and sisters out here done lost their souls. They lost their souls because they love being rich. So let's get some more. Let's go back to 1 Timothy 6 and get verse 10.
1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil.
A lot of people mess this up. They try to say money is evil. That's not what that scripture says.
Right.
Read it again.
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
The love of money is the root of evil. Because like my brother just said, when you want something, I don't want to script what you said. You desire money so bad that you do anything to get it.
Right.
You do anything to get it. What does anything go into? Could be anything.
Sin.
Sin. Sin is the foundation. Sleeping with another man. A man sleeping with a man. You might even sacrifice your child. The Most High, they don't play with it, y'all. It gets that bad. That's why the Most High says the love of money is the root of evil, because it creates that root, that evil. That's where it spawns from. Now you out here, you done became the epitome of evil. Go ahead.
For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after.
Go that word again, covet. Go ahead.
They have erred from the faith.
Because now when you start to covet money, now you err from the faith. You going off of what the Most High said, contentment, godliness. Now you going your own way. Go ahead.
And pierce themselves through with many sorrows.
Pierce themselves through with many sorrows. Hit verse 11.
But thou, O man of God, flee these things and follow after righteousness.
That follow after righteousness. Go ahead.
Godliness. Faith. Love. Patience. Meekness.
Patience. Meekness. Those are two words I wanted. Follow after patience. Because when you can't be patient and covet. You follow after patience. You say, okay, if the Most High wants me to have those things, he'll give them to me. Through my work. We gotta have works. And that's what the work come in. Patience. Ain't patience a work? That's how you get that gain. The Most High sees. the most I can look at you and tell, okay, this brother or sister, they not gonna be corrupted with money. I can give them money. They not gonna be corrupted with they're not fazed by what other people have. I can give them that. But that's the most. But that gotta be the Most High's will. We supposed to just do the work. Stop worrying about what you don't have. Just do the work. Most High see fit for you to have that, He'll give it to you, and that's where that patience come in, and that meekness. That meekness is humbleness. That's where it comes from. Patience. If it's God's will for you to have it, He'll give it to you. If it's not, He won't. You shouldn't be worried about it. Let's get some more. Go to Mark chapter 8. Yeah, try to dwell too long on some of the scripts. Good. Mark chapter 8 and 36.
Book of Mark chapter 8, verse 36. For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul?
So what should it profit a man if he gain the whole world and lose his soul? Nothing. So your profit is destruction. So you can gain all the physical things, the yachts, the mansions, the multitude of women. It's funny how people want a lot of women, but we got the STD raters. You know, gain the world and lose your soul. You lose yourself. You lose your place in the kingdom. That's what that means. You rich here. You want to be rich here, or you want to be rich in the kingdom. You gotta choose. We're gonna get into that more though. But keep that scripture in mind. What should it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Get Luke 9 and 25. There's no profit in it. Luke chapter 9 and 25.
The book of Luke chapter 9, verse 25. For what is a man advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away?
There you go. Gain the whole world and lose himself. See, lose yourself. You gain the world, but you lose yourself. Your inheritance. The things that the Most High has promised for you. And you'll be cast away. That's despair. Like we just said, people be miserable. You're going to be miserable. You're going to be miserable here, and you ain't going to get the kingdom. Because you just desire to have things. Desire a lot of money. Content. That's what the word of the week is. The word of the week. Contentment. Godliness. Thou shalt not covet. So this is what covetousness leads to. It leads to being cast away. It leads to you losing yourself. Losing all touch with reality. You set out, you see people set out to become rich. Y'all see how these celebrities' children are? I mean, look at guys like Lil Wayne. Biggest rapper on the planet at one point. Still is, in a sense. They definitely giving him his flowers in that world. But we as Israelites know that don't amount to nothing to God. That's Sirach. That's Sirach 30, one of the Sirach 38. You know what I'm talking about.
Word it again.
It's where you take a man who is basically always occupied in the world in his craft. That's
38.
Yeah. The most, I'll say, we could say, Lil Wayne, he definitely made a name for himself. But what did it cost him? I can tell you this. I seen a video of this man sitting with his daughter in a club with her boyfriend, and she's twerking on her boyfriend in front of her daddy. Yeah, that's what he worked up. That's what he worked all those years for. And now his daughter's all over there. And I mean, she's a harlot. She's a harlot. But yeah, he still gets that title, huh? Best rapper alive. If that's what comes with it, I don't want it. That's what it means to lose yourself. You set out to become this, and you lose your children. You lose I could go down the list, and I'm not going to do it. When you set out to create a life that you always wanted, and in the process, you end up basically just destroying your family, destroying yourself. You had no, the kids ain't got no morals. You know, probably you and your wife probably ain't got divorced. Or if y'all ain't divorced, she's sleeping around, you sleeping around. It ain't worth it. That's what it means. What was I at? Luke 9
25.
Luke 9:25.
Read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Luke chapter 9, verse 25. For what is a man advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself?
It's a question Christ asking. There's no gain. There's no gain in it. Nothing but destruction. Let's get some more. Get 1 John 2 and 15. See what the Most High say about it. 1 John 2 and 15. I'm talking to my brothers and sisters Israelites out there, so y'all understand. Being us being in these laws, working every day to get better, is what we should be doing. Growing, we have to separate. We have to separate from the world. A lot of us still don't have this understanding. Your only thing you should be covering is your wisdom, your knowledge, your understanding, your growth in this Bible, hoping for that strength and that relationship between you and God, you and the Father. Keep Christ. Gotta go with Christ first before you can get to the Father. That's what the cover should be. Well, let's see. Get what we say. 1 John 2 and 15.
Right.
Let's get that.
The book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
So you got to understand that. If you love the world, the love of the Father, the Most High God, is not in you. So you can't be both. You can't be in these laws and still in love with the world. When I say in love with the world, I mean willing to sin to be comfortable. You got to be willing to be uncomfortable with the Most High and some of the things you have to do. You got to be willing to call off on holy days. You got to be willing to be off on the Sabbath. You can't be afraid to stand up for the Most High in any situation. You can't conform to the world. You can't say, oh, well, hey, your job come to you. Hey, Jerry, if you work on Saturday, that's $25 an hour. Just saying that. Hey, no.
Right.
You got to be willing to put the world on the back burner. This is what it's going into. 15 again.
1 John chapter 2, verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him.
So God said, if you love the world, the love of God is not in you. So you a little self-examination. You still conforming to the world? Yeah, I know we in captivity and we got things we gotta do. But are you still moving righteously? Are you making excuses? You sinning. Now remember, Most High don't give no man license to sin. Let's get verse 16 and we'll hit that. Verse 16.
For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh.
All that is in the world, the lust of the flesh. Talking about all the things that you desire. All that's in the world is the love of the world, the lust of the flesh. Go ahead.
And the lust of the eyes.
Everything you see with your eyes. I got to have it. Like that Jermaine Dupri song back in the day. Go ahead.
And the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world.
The pride of life is not of the Father, but of the world. Like, I'm proud of everything I done gained in the world, and I'm not willing to give it up for nothing. That's of the world. Earn a lot of trophies in your life, cool. Yeah, well, just know that you ain't taking them to the kingdom with you. They're not going into death with you. They're not going into judgment with you. You got to be willing to walk away from that stuff. Let's get some more. Let's get that no license to sin.
Yeah, 32.
Sirach 32. Just a minute. Sirach 15. Oh, fine. Yeah. Yeah, Sirach 15 and 20.
The book of Sirach, chapter 15, verse 20. He have commanded no man to do wickedly, neither have he given any man license to sin.
Most I don't give you no license to sin. That's how you have to keep in your mind. Walk the straight and narrow. Let's get some more. He don't give you no license to sin. Let's get Romans 12 and 2. We almost do it. Romans 12 and 2.
The book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2. And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
So have a new understanding. Don't be conformed to this world. Don't be attached to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's the laws. Go ahead.
That ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God.
So you got to prove what is the will of God. What is the acceptable will of God. Don't be conformed to the world, but be transformed, changed. You're a new man. Don't move like the world. Don't come out of the world. Let's get some more. Matthew 6 and 24.
Book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 24. No man can serve two masters.
So you can't serve the world, and God. Go ahead.
For either he will hate the one and love the other.
You're going to hate the one and love the other. So anytime you try to dwell in the flesh, what you going to hate? The spirit. Remember, God is of the spirit. So you gotta choose. Go ahead.
Or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
So you gotta serve God. Point and simple. Point blank, period. Serve God. And God does not covet. Go ahead, let's get some more. Let's go to 1 John 2 and 17.
The book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse 17. And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
So the world, this is why we don't lust after things of the world. Another reason. Everything in the world is going to pass away. And the lust of it. Remember, lust is a spirit. And Most High going to destroy all those spirits. The world, everything in the world is going to pass away. But, read that last part again, that but.
But he that doeth the will of God abideth forever.
But he that is content with godliness going to abide forever. Let's get some more. Go to Colossians 3 and 14. It's just a precept, really. Colossians 3 and 14.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 14.
I'm sorry. Yeah, hold on. Just a minute. I'm sorry. Get 1 Corinthians 7 and 31. 1 Corinthians 7 and 31.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, verse 31. And they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away.
That's pretty I was looking for. The fashion of this world passed away. Everything in this world, the world, this gonna pass away. So why are you working so hard to gain everything in it? It's gonna pass away. Most High gonna destroy it. Let's get some more. Get 1 John 5.
The book of 1 John, chapter 5, verse 4. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world.
So that's how you know if you're a God. You don't lust after the world. You don't covet the things of the world. You content. Go ahead.
And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith.
That's faith. Because you know, hey, I don't have to have all that right now. As long as I got the love of the Most High, and I got my roof over my head, I got everything I need, I'm gonna be all right. And plus, on the bonus, if the Most High find me approved, I'm gonna have great riches in the kingdom. So I'm not gonna settle to drive a Lamborghini around here. I'm not saying you can't buy a Lamborghini. If you somehow find the means to get one, go ahead. But let's be honest, it's a $300,000 car.
You find the means for that.
Yeah, that's unrealistic.
Wasting money.
Right. $2 million. That's a house. That's a house. That's a basic house. But yeah, the point is, one more time, let's get that again.
1 John chapter 5, verse 4. For whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world.
So anyone born of God overcome the world. That means anybody that believes it has that faith. Anybody, a commandment keeper, overcome the world.
And this is the victory that overcometh the world, even our faith.
Faith is the victory that overcomes the world. Knowing that, whatever state you in your life, you're gonna be okay. That's what overcomes the world. Let's get some more. Let's get 2nd Esdras 8.
Book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 8 and verse 1.
Because you gotta understand something. That faith is this is how the Most High put it. That faith is gonna get you here. 2nd Esdras 8 and 1.
And he answered me, saying, the Most High have made this world for many, but the world to come for few.
That's deep. The world that we're living in now is made for many. As you can see, it's corrupted. But the world to come is for few. Because you gotta make it. You gotta be content in this world, not giving into this world and becoming a part of this world. That's how you get that world that's for few. Because it takes a special kind of person. It takes a special kind of person. But the Most High called his people to be a people. Remember that. Get Matthew 7 and 14. We almost there.
The book of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 14.
Right. 14.
14. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way.
So straight is the gate, and narrow is the way. So that's what I'm saying. The world will come for few. The path to the kingdom is narrow, and there's so many distractions on each side. You can't go to the left, you can't go to the right, and you can't go back. You have to go forward. Go ahead. It's a narrow path. Go ahead.
Which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
It said, and few there be that find it. Few there be that find. You want to get verse 18?
Verse 18.
Oh, no, you're good on that one. Let's get 2nd Esdras 7. Second Esdras chapter 7 and start at verse 7.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 7, verse 7. The entrance thereof is narrow, And it's set in a dangerous place to fall.
So the entrance to the kingdom is narrow and it's set in a dangerous place. That's the world we live in. Put your spiritual eyes on right now. That's the world we live in. The path to the kingdom is narrow. It's like a tightrope. You got to walk straight. You can't lose your balance. And it's set in a dangerous place. It's temptation all around us, causing us to conform to this world. Go ahead.
The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water.
Well, I was just saying. Go ahead, verse 8.
And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water.
So it's saying on both sides is danger, temptation, sin. Go ahead.
So small that there could but one man go there at once.
It's so small. That's what I said. That's how narrow the path is. You can't even go around a person. You got to walk in a straight line. That's how it is to get to the kingdom. We have to be that dedicated. We have to be that focused. Because just stopping and looking for a second can get you killed. Matthew 5:28 say. See, looking can get you caught up. You got to walk that path. Go ahead.
Verse
9.
If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance.
That's it on that. My bad. Let's get some more. Go to Proverbs 3:31.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 31.
And this is where another thing that we do that we need to understand. That's it. Goes into coveting. Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
That's how we got to the position that we in now as a people. Envying our oppressors, want to do things that they do. The Most High has tried to protect us from sin. And by us envying our oppressors, we start June, Christmas, Valentine's Day, Thanksgiving, all those days where there's evil. The evil of those days is intended against us. And we celebrate all of it. That's envying your oppressor. But that goes into coveting. Also wanting the things that he has. One more. You know how people get these jobs. They want to be executive at their firms. And they will do whatever they do to suck up to the boss. Whatever. So it's the Most High and we know that's our oppressor. Change your ways. Shave. Men go over there, our brothers get older, they shave their whole beard off. Looking like Carlton. Trying to emulate the oppressor. Most High say don't learn their ways. You got our one job really in Israel as men is preaching this word. Bringing it out. And our women following suit. That's our one job. Our jobs that we use to make money, that's the side. That's really the side hustle, ain't it? Right. That's the side hustle. That's just they call it the grind. That's
the slavery.
Yeah, that's just we really should. And we get it. We know you got to make money, but you can't put that on a pedestal. But yeah, most I say envy not the oppressor, because envy and the oppressor has got us to where we at now. Let's get another about. Let's get where we at? Let's get Proverbs 3. I'll get verse 32.
Verse 32. For the froward is abomination to the Lord, but his secret is with the righteous.
Said his secret with the righteous. Get verse 33.
The curse of the Lord is in the house of the wicked, but he blesseth the habitation of the just.
So the curse of the Lord is with the wicked. Let's see what that is. Go to Leviticus 26 and get verse 14. The curse of the Lord is with the wicked. So what it's saying is, if you envy the oppressor as a wicked, right? So what is your curse? Let's get that.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 14. But if ye will now hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments, and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgment, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant,
go ahead.
I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning egg that shall consume the eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
Verse 17.
And I will set my face against you, and ye shall be slain before your enemies. They that hate you shall reign over you, and ye shall flee when none pursueth you.
That's the curse. That's the curse of the wicked, because you envy your oppressor. You want to be like them, and that's who the Most High is going. What he said, that's who he's going to descend to destroy you. So while you out here trying to be like them, and you trying to pursue envying after them and learn all their ways, at the same time they are destroying you. That's the curse of the wicked. You're being destroyed by your lust, by your covetousness, through your desires, following after your enemies, who are the very ones that the Most High is using to destroy you. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's get some more. Get Isaiah 26 and 11. It's precepts. Isaiah 26 and 11.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 26, verse 11. Lord, when thy hand is lifted up, they will not see, but they shall see and be ashamed.
They shall see and be ashamed. Go ahead.
For their envy at the people.
For their envy at the people. Go ahead.
Yea, the fire of thy enemies shall devour them.
They envy the people, and the fire of their enemies shall devour them. Cause that's the most I say. Like, y'all want this? What y'all want? Y'all want to be like your enemies? Well, that's gonna be the person that destroys you through your envy of them. That's gonna lead to your destruction. Look at us as a people now. We learned the ways of our enemies, and now we out here all messed up. This is what covenant does. This is what covetousness has given us: poverty, destruction. That's all Deuteronomy 28. Let's get Proverbs 23. Start at verse 17.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 17. Let not thy heart envy sinners, but be thou in the fear of the Lord all the day long.
Don't envy sinners, because people like you see them, but they got great gain. They always getting stuff. They call them blessings. They look like you see sinners who ain't keeping the laws, but they always look like they always getting something. Most I say don't envy that. Get verse 18.
For surely there is an end, and thy expectation shall not be cut off.
For sure there is an end, and thy expectation shall not be cut off. That's expectation for the wicked, and there's an expectation for the righteous. Let's see what it is. Don't envy sinners. There's an end. What is it, though? Let's get Proverbs 24 and 14.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 24, verse 14. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto thy soul when thou hast found it. Then there shall be a reward, and thy expectation shall not be cut off.
Your expectation shall not be cut off when you are righteous. Wisdom unto thy soul. When you live that life, your expectations shall not be cut off. But that same goes for the wicked. That same goes for the wicked. So for the wicked, let's see what it is. Get Luke chapter 16 and verse 25. Yeah, Luke chapter 16, verse 25.
Book of Luke chapter 16, verse 25. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things.
So you have to remember, for the righteous, the things that you worked for will not be cut off. You're gonna cheat. If you live a righteous life, you stay godly, be content. All blessings gonna be poured out upon you. And the same, I'll read that again. Same go for the wicked. Luke 16:25.
But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things.
So you gotta remember, it's for those who gave in to the world. You received all those good things. Go ahead.
And likewise, Lazarus, evil things.
Likewise, Lazarus, evil thing. What that means is Lazarus was humble. He had to take what the world threw at him, but he stayed humble. What this parable is talking about is you got a man who was rich, who received everything that he wanted, no matter what, and did what he had to do to get it. Whereas you had another man who was content. It's different levels of people here in this parable. Lazarus represents the humble. He represents the working man, not just necessarily a poor man who just didn't have. He just represents a certain class of men. The humble man. Go ahead, let's finish it off.
And likewise, Lazarus, evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented.
If we indulge in this world and be corrupted with this world, we cannot expect rest in the next life. So that would mean to say, thou shalt not covet. Because when you covet, like my brother said earlier in the class, that leads to deeper temptation, sin. You start to steal. You start to take what you want. You lose yourself. But for the righteous, get Revelation 14, start at 13. We start at 12.
Book of Revelation, chapter 14, verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
Key words, patience, faith. Here is the patience of the saints, the faith. Go ahead, verse 13.
And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord from henceforth.
Blessed are the dead that remain humble, that die in the Lord. They remain content. Go ahead.
Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors.
They're going to rest from their labors. They labored in the Spirit. They labored in the flesh. Go ahead.
And their works do follow them.
And all that work that they did, while they remain humble, content, and godly, is going to follow them into the kingdom. So all praise to the Most High God. You got anything you want to bring out? Yeah, let's get Matthew 26. So all praise to the Most High God.
All praise. The book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman have done, be told for a memorial of her.
That's the memorial of Mary Magdalene. Whenever this word come out, whenever we preach this word, we read out this Bible, Christ commanded that the memorial of Mary Magdalene be brought out. So all praise to the Most High God. With that I say, shalom.